children, how are you all? Which topic we are discussing about? Yes, we are discussing about crop production management. In this topic already we are discussed with nutrient management and also irrigation. Today in this session we are discussing about importance of manures and fertilizers. Let's start with manures. What are manures? Manures are the substances which contains large quantity of organic material and less quantity of nutrients. Children, do you know how manures are prepared? Manures are just prepared by the decomposition of plant waste and animal excreta. Let's see the benefits of using manure. If we use manure, it will maintains the soil composition and also increases the soil fertility. As we know, we have three different types of soils. They are loamy soils, clayey soils and sandy soils. Children, tell me which soils are best among these three? Yes, loamy soils are best. Let's see the problems with other two types of soils. If we look at sandy soils, these sandy soils absorb very less water. So retaining capacity of sandy soils is very less. If we add manure to such soils, the retaining capacity increases and these soils will absorb more water. Coming to next type of soils, those are clayey soils. The problem with clayey soils is they absorb more amount of water. When they absorb more amount of water, we will face a problem of waterlogging. If we add manure to these clayey soils, definitely we can avoid the problems like waterlogging. As we are preparing manures in a very much biological method, here we are recycling the plant waste and animal waste which is of no use. In this topic, we are going to discuss about two different methods of manure preparation. The first one is composting and vermicomposting and the second one is green manure. Let's see the first one, composting and vermicomposting. If we look at composting, in this compost will be prepared using plant waste, animal waste, domestic waste, sea waste, etc. All these different types of waste are collected in pits. By the action of the microorganisms, this waste will get converted into compost. And this process is called composting. Then what is vermicomposting? Vermicomposting is also done in the same way. But here we will introduce earthworms into the compost. When we look at the first case, when we are preparing the compost, with the action of microorganisms, compost was prepared. Then why to introduce earthworms here? The answer for this is, if we add earthworms into the compost, it will hasten the process of decomposition. As the earthworms will live in the compost, it will feed on that organic matter and also it adds its waste or excreta to it. This process is called as vermicomposting. The other method we are going to discuss is green manure. What is green manure? Before the process of cultivation, the farmer will start growing such plants like sunhemp, cluster beans, which belongs to leguminous family. He will grow these crops till certain height. When these plants grow, the farmer will start the actual growing of actual plants. What is the first step in cultivation, children? Yes, ploughing. Before he sow the seeds, he will start the process of ploughing. When he plows the soil along with the green plants. when he is doing plowing, these green plants will get mixed up into the soil and it will add more nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, and it will make soil very fertile. This is the way in which we prepare green manure, through which crop plants will grow and it will give good yield. This is called as green manure. Next, now we have to look at the benefits of using manure. When we use manure, it will never change the soil composition and it will increase the soil fertility. Let's look at the fertilizers now. Fertilizers are the chemicals which are prepared synthetically or artificially. And these chemicals are made of all the nutrients which are essential to the plants. But when we look at these fertilizers, they contain more amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So now when we are using fertilizers for the growth of the plants, we have to know what is the minimal dosage and at what time we have to use them. If we use such fertilizers in huge amounts, then definitely it will harm the crop plants. Let's see how the fertilizers will do harm. If we use fertilizers in huge amounts, then due to heavy rainfall or due to over irrigation, the fertilizers which are used in excess amounts will wash away. Where they will reach? These fertilizers will reach the nearby water bodies. When they reach nearby water bodies, definitely it will cause water pollution and also damages aquatic life. In addition to this, when we use fertilizers in excess dose, it will cause damage to microorganisms which are living in the soil. So, as we are using fertilizers to promote the growth of the plants, we have to use it on minimal basis. Otherwise, it may cause harm to the aquatic life and also microorganisms living in the soil. The other ill effects of using fertilizers are, it will change the composition of the soil and also it decreases soil fertility. Now, as we discussed both about manures and fertilizers, now this is the time to see the differences between fertilizers and manures. If we look at the differences between fertilizers and manures, these fertilizers are the substances which are prepared artificially and they are very costly. And the manures are the materials which contains more amount of organic matter and less amount of nutrients. Next, fertilizers are nutrient specific. Manures are not nutrient specific. Third point, microorganisms are not needed for the preparation of fertilizers. Microorganisms are needed for the preparation of manure. Next one, these fertilizers will change the soil composition and also it decreases soil fertility. Manures never change the soil composition and it will increases the soil fertility. The last point here, the storage and transport of fertilizers is very easy, whereas the storage and transport of manures are very difficult. These are the main differences between fertilizers and manures. As we are very much clear with the fertilizers and manures, now we need to learn about organic farming. Now let's see what is organic farming. Maybe you are very much familiar with this word, organic farming. Nowadays we are just listening about organic foods, organic fruits and organic vegetables. How these products are grown, let's see what is organic farming. Organic farming is a method in which either less or no chemicals are used in this method. And the fruits, vegetables or the products, anything which are grown by this method are called as organic foods or organic farming. We'll get a question like, if no chemicals, no fertilizers, no pesticides are not used, how can we expect the yield? It is a great question, but in this organic farming, instead of using fertilizers, they will use the fertilizers which are biofertilizers, which are prepared using blue-green algae. In case of pesticides, they will use either turmeric powder or neem leaves even for storage of harvest. So these are the methods which they are using in organic manure. To enrich the soils, they are adopting intercropping, mixed cropping methods which will enrich the soil. This is the method in which organic farming is done and organic products are produced. If we consume such organic products as they are not grown with chemicals, it is very good for our health. Children, as this is summer season, you may be observing there are fruits available in the market. If you observe, there will be a special board with organic food or organic fruits. They will be of higher price when compared to normal fruits. Why? Because here no chemicals are used, no fertilizers are used, no pesticides. As it is very good for our health, they are costly. So we should habituate to eat such organic foods. Children, is all the topics what we have discussed today are clear? Manures, fertilizers and also organic farm. Okay, meet you all in the next session with another topic. Thank you, children.